Hi everybody. Sorry I was MIA for the past couple of days, but some crazy stuff happened. I don't know if you can still see it faintly pink here. Um I had a really bad allergic reaction to some stuff, so it was basically from my shoulders upward. I was bright red. So it's one of the quirky things that happens when you live with RSD, and you deal with it best as you can and keep moving on. Yes, today is Thursday, the 20th of June, 2024. It's time for the solstice, and I've got a lot of stuff I have to cover, starting with the stuff that should have gone up on Tuesday. And so we got to remember, yes, I am a clairvoyant, clairaudient, psychic, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. Disclaimers in the box. If you want to reach out to me for a private reading, shoot me an email. There's my buy me a coffee. And we now have this thank you and super stickers activated on the channel. We had to take down the PayPal link because of certain circumstances. So, yeah. And the apartment hunt is still crazy. It's like these places, these corporations, just to fill out an application, you have to pay almost in the $500 range just to apply to, and then they can turn you down. It's like a money-making scheme. It's it's crazy. Now, let me just get back to what I wanted to cover earlier. Is yeah, we've seen the how do I put this? Over the weekend and so forth, the past few days, there was the G7 summit, and we saw the D-Day behavior. I mean, JoJo is every year becoming more and more. Every day we can watch the deterioration. And they said, oh yeah, Obama was just helping his friend, being affectionate to his friend. Well, we know Barry Soetoro likes the boys, white boys. And he wasn't being a friendly gesture. He was guiding the senile dude off the stage. He doesn't know what's going on. And everyone says, well, he only works from noon to 4 every day. 4 hours a day for our president? Not, it's Barry who's running the country, or trying. He's in his third term right now. And so a lot of, I know I want to itch and I can't. It's getting crazy, especially with the political situation, because more and more polls are saying that Donald is leading, is topping out all the polls by leaps and bounds. And the numbers are larger than Ronald Reagan when he was running up against Jimmy Carter's second term. And some of these numbers have not been realized since when Dwight D. Eisenhower ran for president. We're reverting back. We're finally coming full circle back to the Eisenhower baby boomer era, which is needed. And more kids are starting to wake up. They're realizing that this alphabet soup mentality isn't working. I mean, would you hire some idiot with complete tattooed face? If you did, then you would have to put into your dress code no visible tattoos and provide these people with, there's a cosmetic line called, brand of foundation called Covermark, which is used to cover tattoos, especially in the film industry. They use this makeup, and it basically gives you a clean canvas so you don't have to see the tattoos. Maybe those kids, those 20-somethings that are tatted up, need to start applying the correct makeup, and maybe then they will get a job. Stop whining. People can handle wonky hair color, but when you have tattooed crap all over from neck up, wear long sleeves so they don't see the disgusting stuff on your arms. But the kids are starting to wake up. These are the great-grandkids of the stupid Woodstock generation. I mean, yesterday all over the place was the news coverage of the little brat that sprayed allegedly tinted cornstarch all over Stonehenge. Well, that little idiot girl, doesn't she realize that her little Patagonia t-shirt, petroleum items were used in the manufacture and the transportation of it to her favorite store where she purchased it? And her eyeglasses. She can't wear those because why didn't she go opt for metal frames and actually glass lenses? But you see, you need heat to melt the glass and get the lenses. So take away her eyeglasses, take away every stitch of her clothing that is because you needed fuel to get that stuff into the stores or delivered to her house. Yeah, she should be some people say, oh, they should be cleaning it off with a toothbrush. I go, that's too nice for those bozos. Their tongue and their fingernails. That's what they should be forced to use to clean it up. And what are the products, all the ingredients in that powder that they sprayed? And they had little aerosol canisters to spray it? Or were they compressors? Well, you need fuel to run the generator for the air compressor to blow out. So these just no oil idiots, they don't get it. Without petroleum products, they'd be walking around stark naked and hopefully emaciated, because without petroleum, stuff can't get to a grocery store. Now, one of the other things I caught on the news, it's the governor of Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, which is actually really close to Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah, one of the favorite trolls, I guess, she might check, because if she's ever been busted for possession of cannabis, well, they just pardoned 175,000 minor convictions for possession and usage of cannabis. Is Gamer Girl on that list of people being pardoned? Maybe someone is smart enough and has the access to find out. Another thing that's popped up, I mean, we're still seeing these bozos trying to indoctrinate little kids into... I feel sorry. A kid could say, oh, I want to be a fireman, or I want to be working with Smokey the Bear, or this or that, or I want to be a princess or prince. And using their imagination is part of the learning process. Well, Biden, or I should say Barry Soetoro's, the evil Democrat Party, we should start calling it the Democrat National Socialist Party, which was actually known as the NAZIs, is now going after the doctor at Texas Children's Hospital for telling the truth about all the Joseph Mengele experiments that are being done on children. Yeah. A doctor who's telling the truth is now being penalized by the Democrats. Yeah. Sterilization of children is one of the goals of the globalists. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, they're going after doctors. Mm-hmm. I know, it's a yearly battle with me because my doctors have me on a great medication cocktail that actually keeps me up and running. But because it doesn't fall within some idiot's ideology, they want to take me off. And I'm like, no, we fight every year to stay on it. And because of some of the behavior of my former primary care's doctors, she was, her practice got bought out by a conglomeration, which doesn't want to do any preventative care. They want to wait till somebody's super sick, then they'll start treating them. No. So I had to switch to a new primary care, and she's like, oh my gosh. So there's going to be a lot of medical stuff kicking around the next few months on top of moving. So I'm like, this is crazy, but we got to do it. Now, yesterday I did have to go down to the main post office to collect my mail. And while I was waiting for the train to come back, there was a guy with a yarmulke, kippah, on his head. And I said, oh, voting for Donald this November? He goes, no. I looked at him, I go, well, you do realize that people like you, so complacent, ended up in a boxcar? He goes, how dare you? I go, hey, I'm Jewish too. Shut the fuck up. I go, what are you afraid? Because a woman can call you out on your own bullshit? I go, I hope you enjoy being tormented by the Allah Akkars, those mafemochs. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting crazy. Because what can we do? So, like I said, today is the solstice. And on top of it, they're claiming World Refugee Day. Well, I caught some bullshit clips with this journalist, Sally Hayden? She wrote this book about, oh, how horrible the stories of the refugees are. I'm like, excuse me, but she says, oh, they contact her with their cell phones. Well, if they're starving, dying of thirst, in horrible conditions, how can they afford to have a mobile cell phone, pay for the service, and keep it charged up? Tell me what's wrong with this picture. I mean, something's wrong with this picture here. I mean, back in the day, in the 1940s, when people were being held by when the Europeans, the Westerners, were being held by the Japanese, people were trading their wedding bands for food. They were pulling the gold out of their mouths to trade for food. If these refugees are in such dire straits, why do they still have a cell phone? Why do they still have a cell phone? Like Denmark, when they show up there, Denmark strips them of all valuables, and that's their little bank account that is used to support them in Denmark. Yeah. This is totally wrong. It's like, yeah, there's stories all over about, oh, the horrible things that the Afghans are experiencing in Pakistan. I go, well, duh. It's like you've got warring factions of Shiite Muslims that are taking orders from Tehran. So, of course, you're going to have a power struggle because each one has their own little leader, and those guys have been fighting among themselves for thousands of years. And then there's stuff about, oh gosh, the people in fleeing Sudan, and then some other bullshit. I mean, the people that are trapped in Libya. And I'm like, you know what? You allowed the shit to happen. Go back and deal with it on your own. Don't come crying and running to other countries as a refugee day. I mean, one of the most disgusting things that I heard in France, they have like the big apartment tower blocks like in every city, and it's usually for the subsidized lower income housing. Well, there was a little girl out just doing whatever, 12-year-old girl. And some boys who were like around the ages of 13 found out that she was keeping quiet because her family was Jewish. Well, these boys dragged her off to an isolated area. Not only did they physically beat the girl, they also broke her hymen and filmed it. Yeah. 13-year-old boys attacking a 12-year-old girl. These are the refugees that are coming into Western countries. They all need to be kicked the heck out. And you know what I'm kind of laughing about? It's so nice to hear that a lot of the Shiites that are doing their Hajj pilgrimage right now, it's so warm in Saudi Arabia right now that some of these idiots, probably the ones that have acclimated to the weather in Western countries, can't handle the heat. And they're dropping like flies. I guess Allah is a cruel twist of fate. Those bad boy Shiites, over 1,000 dead now from heat stroke. And you know what's great? The heavens above are really keeping their eyes out on shit, because right now we've got a really nasty tropical storm that's cut across Central America. The storm is ironically called Alberto. It's already crossed across Central America, basically Mexico. And it's going up through Texas along the Gulf Coast states. Extreme flooding, making things a total mess. Which means that little refugee walking convoy has been stopped for a little bit of time. And these idiots, yeah, they're making the Rio Grande very hazardous to cross. And how many of these bozos want to be walking in thunderstorms? They're a tropical storm that could basically have hurricane strength winds. So that is a great way to slow down Mother Nature. You don't fool with her. She doesn't like what's going on, so she's making it extremely hazardous for these assholes, these alleged refugees, to cross into the United States. And we got to say thank you to Mother Nature for putting this pause of the influx, creating a pause. Yes, we have to be very, very thankful for that. Now, I don't know how many of you watch Rita on Aussie News. She has her little section, Lefties Losing It. Well, I don't have Telegram or TikTok on any of my devices. If somebody sends me a link, I don't even open it, because the CCP does not need to know. I don't want them to backdoor my electronics. But we know that TikTok is pro Mengele experiment. Well, now they've banned a certain brand of women's athletic wear from any adverts or people talking about it on TikTok. It's the XXXY athletic wear, and it supports and promotes true female identity. It's like, there's only two sexes, two genders. Even the US government has said, hey, with some new laws being bantered around the swamp about a draft, They're saying two genders, male and female. So these little punk-ass Looney Tune idiots, they're going to be losing it. I'm like, I'm going to look for this athletic wear at XXXY, and if something's within my budget, I'll probably pick up a t-shirt or two. But also, we have to thank our military for standing their ground, saying there's only two sexes, two genders. And the little brats are going to go starting to go batshit crazy. So, yeah, things are happening. I mean, one thing that people are having fits about is Vlad is visiting North Korea. Well, in order for Vlad to visit North Korea, yeah, he brought some little toys for little Kim. Little Kim had to build a Russian Orthodox church. I bet this is the first religious structure, new construction structure, since 1940 something. Yeah. Because if they're like, hey, we're supposed to be allies. Well, if, hey, Vlad has guys over there, they practice the Russian Orthodox Church, they need to have their opportunity of freedom of religion. People don't realize it, but what Vlad did with that simple demand, okay, yeah, he gave some toys to little Kim, but little Kim had to capitulate and allow a church to be built that offers religious services. And if they do anything to harm it, you know that Vlad's going to come down on little Kim. People don't realize, hey, Vlad's smart. Little Kim has been no religion. Well, now North Korea now has a church. Step by step, that little Kim dictator is being taken down, and the world doesn't realize it. Everyone thinks, oh, Russia is so weak. No, Russia is a self-sustainable country. It's so huge. It has its own oil, own water supply. People, if they shut the borders off, build a giant wall around Russia, Russia would be self-sustainable. They don't need anything from anybody else. They have lambs for wool. They have fields for flax, which linen is made out of. Okay, so they don't have cotton fields, but they can grow flax and they can grow hemp, which fabric can be made out of. They have the oil reserves. They have the oil fields. And a lot of your synthetic fibers are made out of petroleum products. So don't say Russia is a country that can't sustain itself. It's totally able to. It's like, yeah. People wake up. And as for other politics, yeah, we know that right now, okay, the EU is having big elections. They have the first round on June 30th. They have the next round on July 7th. And basically it's to kick out all the socialist Democrats out of the EU to take back what's happening. And right now there's a big stink in Germany because the people want all these alleged refugees that have committed crimes deported. And a lot of people are having fits about it. But if they don't start deporting them and getting rid of these little monsters, I mean, like those 13-year-olds that raped a 12-year-old, hey, it's a fact. Those little kids need to be institutionalized for the rest of their life. Their parents need to be booted out. This shit that's going down, people aren't going to reelect the pro-globalist doctrine idiots. And in between, I mean, you have the big first election on the 30th where everybody throws their hat in, and then the top two contenders then are in a runoff on July 7th. Well, in the middle, on America's Independence Day, that's election day in the UK. And I saw something, I don't know all the details, but I guess Rishi Sunak's one of his private bodyguards got pulled off the detail because I guess he was something dealing with illegal gambling, leaking private information. Yeah, he's been going to the betting parlors and was caught. That's bits and pieces that I heard. Well, it's kind of funny because usually the off-track betting parlors in the UK always run a thing like, okay, what color is the Queen's hat today during Ascot? It's Ascot week going on. Well, I guess someone told me that they were putting bets down on whether or not Princess Catherine, would be attending Ascot. Well, it's good to see her out and about, and she's not back to work. She's still dealing with the stuff with chemo and healing up. But now she is outside, and people can see her in public events, but look how carefully they're picking the events. She was at Trooping of the Colour, and roughly she was in the window for maybe, 45 minutes? And then she was back in the carriage. They were back out on the balcony for like 15 minutes, and then Catherine was back inside. So, we got to see her, but they're doing stuff where she is able to do as much as she can, and then kick back, sit back down, get her energy back up, maybe drink some juice, do some deep breathing exercises to decompress, and then go back out. Just like riding in the carriage from Windsor Castle down to the horse track. And then she's taken into the royal enclosure where she can be, I don't like to say where she can be isolated, but she can be around people that they know aren't carrying something stupid that she could get sick with. Because when you have going through chemo, your immune system does drop down. So they have her around in the carriage, and then she gets out of the carriage, and they probably will have they have a gauntlet for her to walk down. So she can be seen, but then she goes into the royal box and take a look who else is there. She's going to be in the back, so she's not going to be sneezed on or coughed on. She's there she's out doing the stuff with the kids, but she has her little insular bubble, so she's not going to be around somebody to catch anything contagious. So it's great that she's out and about and watching the races and stuff, and being able to kick back and sip a cup of tea. That's not really the most stressful part for her was keeping her smile on in the carriage. That, and the rest of it, she could kick back and relax and have some fun. I mean, so she wasn't on her feet. She was able to sit down. And that's how it goes. She's out being seen, but it's in a low stress environment. Now, now I want to thank the people who reached out to me asking where I was. I mean, thank you very, very much. Yeah, it's like on this stuff, I mean, I don't know how, I don't want to it's actually, it's like my skin is peeling. It's so bad. It like bubbled up and now it's peeling off. It's, ugh. So, and with, I don't want to run the risk of putting on any cosmetics. So yeah, bare face. Hey, what you see is what you get today. But I want to say thank you to everyone who reached out. I appreciate all the good wishes. Please, I know Blair did a wonderful video on algorithms, and so did the Royal Grift. So please, you know, do the like, the thumbs up stuff. Share the information, let people know, and uh, let's see what happens. So thank you, everyone, and have a great Shabbos. I'll be live on Saturday. Okay, Saturday at 1 p.m. If you want, folks, I'll put something up in on the community page for a new time. I mean, if you'd like it earlier so you're not giving up your Saturday evenings or this or that, so I have no problem pushing it earlier so everybody's not stuck losing out on their day. So I'll think about the time zones. So I'll put a poll up in the community page after this uploads. So thank you. Have a great Shabbos, and I'll see you on Saturday. Bye bye.